I just remember Matt moving over somewhere else, and I moved over somewhere else, and we came to one of those town meetings or whatever they had. And the book said, "Who moved my cheese?" And I looked at Matt and I said, "It's time to roll even further. we can't stay stagnant in here because we're gonna be stuck. So what you gonna do?" What was it called when they have everybody together and they
the group
have
things.
new people come?
Town hall meeting, right?
Because I can't remember back there for I don't know what they call because I'm in a different life now.
Was it not a town hall meeting?
I guess my man said, "Who moved my cheese?" I was like, "Man, we got to go. I'm about to go. I don't know what you gonna do, but we can't make this our last stop."
And she went out and got prospered and everything. And all my friends left, had everybody. I'm like, "You right. I need to get up out of here." I had to start making new friends with people I don't even talk to once y'all left.
Like who?
Everybody else, like you remember how you was like, you sent me a thing, you was like, that was your mortal enemy. Now you friends now? Well, yeah. So I had to adapt. Once all my friends left, I had to
humble yourself.
Yes, and I had to be like, all right, I can't be single out here in these streets. I gotta adapt to any and everything. So then I started just linking up to whoever talked to me. We about to be friends now because all my friends left. It feels like just the old days.
Today, we're back with our second guest and share our thoughts on Russell Crowe showing us what a bad day looks like in Unhinged. I'm Chad, that's Matt, and you're listening to our podcast. We used to talk about this at work. Yeah, so we have a guest, Matt.
And I'm happy about this one.
Okay, tell me why.
This is my buddy. When I was at my previous occupation.
Why you say your previous occupation? Like I wasn't there too.
Well, that's not what we're talking about right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
My previous occupation, this was my road dog. I used to come to this person for anything, everything, nonsense, work stuff, everything. So I'm glad that we have her here today.
That's really cute. So today we have our friend, Michele. Hello, Michele.
Hi, guys. Thank you for inviting me. This is exciting.
Why do you say that, Michele?
Because I haven't seen you guys in 2 years.
So
It's been 2
years, really.
It's been 2 years.
That long?
2 years.
Wow.
So you left in 2019 also?
Yeah, I left March 12th.
Oh,
she made the specific date.
So
I arrived here on March 16th.
You can't
and started my new journey on March 17th.
You can't just be like here, all right? I mean, what does here mean, Michele?
Oh,
all right.
So I've been on the East Coast in Virginia for 2 years.
Okay.
And I left the Midwest 2 years ago.
So, like Matt and Michele said, we know Michele because we worked with her. Do you have any early memories or any fun memories at all of when we worked together?
A lot. And I don't even think I'm like the fun stuff that we used to joke about and stuff. I don't even know if I can even discuss that. We were together for a long time.
When did you start?
2015.
Wow. Okay. So really?
Yes. One of the things that I used to, when I first met you, I don't know if you remember, Chad, but I couldn't believe that your name was just Chad. And I said, no, it's got to be something else. So,
Chadwick.
I used
Chadwick?
But I called him Chadrick, Rick. And that in my phone, that's who he is, Chadrick. Because I did not want him to be just Chad. That just was not working for me. And, I used to slide on into his little cube and I say, "Hey, Chadrick." He's like, "Hey, Michele."
Well, no, I said that because I'd be like, "Hey, how's it going, Michele?" And you like, "That's not how you pronounce my name. It's Michele."
No, I said, "My name is pronounced Michele."
Yeah, Michele.
He said, "Michele."
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a very sophisticated name, very masculine.
Oh, thank you.
But
So were you in that first group?
I was not in the
In my
no,
first group? No.
no.
It's honestly, I feel really bad saying this, but like there were so many of you that I can't
Yeah.
remember like the placement of everybody.
Right, right. And that's understandable because there were people that came after us. I mean, I saw Matt a lot because he sat across the other lead from the other lead. And so then, I started, hey, hey, and then started sliding over to his cue, talking to him a little bit. So we had a lot of memories. I had a lot of memories. And one of the things was our graduation. Our
Oh, those
graduation was the
graduations.
bomb, man. It was like a wedding reception. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, like at one point we were just going so out. Like we had like, I wouldn't say catered food, but like, well,
Pretty
technically
much.
it was
Pretty
basically
much.
catered food. Like we'd have those big heated trays of food and
Yes.
cake. We were doing too much to be at work.
It was all in fun. We worked hard to get to that point. But
it was an intensive job.
yes, man, I just can't put my finger on just one thing,
What do you have to do to
because
tell one story? But like it,
we talked about a lot of people.
Yes, that's what I'm here for, because she was on the other side of me. But then once we moved to
your different teams.
Yeah, that's when
because you guys were you guys on the same team when you guys like left training?
Not the same team.
Same area. Okay.
Yeah. So once we was in the same area, that's when the how do I want to say this? That's when not the raunchiness, that's not the right word, but that's when we started to vibe more into all our shenanigans, as I say, is once we got to the same over there. Yeah.
It was cool over there. I mean, they did have a lot of stuff going on. It was different. It's not as structured as the training, but you either sink or swim over there. So
yeah, I mean, it was real life over there though.
Yeah.
Michele, tell me about your new lifestyle, vegan stuff.
So yeah, I am not sure. I am trying to make a decision. I thought about all three: vegan, vegetarian, and pescatarian.
Educate me. What's pescatarian?
Fish, right? Seafood.
So you're a vegetarian, but you eat fish?
I'm not anything yet.
No, not you. I'm saying pescatarian is you don't eat, the only meat you eat is fish.
Yes, seafood. Yes.
So is this health or weight?
It's not weight. I'm looking at it, for health. Since 2004, I haven't eaten beef or pork. So I gave that up long time ago. I eat turkey, seafood, and chicken. But my thing now is, I don't know what it is, but I have a problem eating the chicken bone in. I just can't do it. I haven't eaten chicken in a while. Don't think I want to eat any livestock. I'm really having I'm having a problem with that. I really am. I'm gonna eat eggs. So if I do the vegetarian, then I can't have my seafood, and I love seafood.
I mean, especially being on the East Coast.
Yes.
That's a bit of a waste. Like if you came back here, then definitely, yeah, get rid of the seafood.
Yeah, so it's gonna be between vegetarian and pescatarian, but it's not. I mean, it is healthier, but with that too, you look at. I don't know if you guys have seen people that say, "Oh, I'm a vegetarian," and they might be 300 pounds. And it's like, well, you don't eat meat or whatever. But what they're doing is they're stocking up on the carbs. So you gotta kind of watch your carbs if you're doing it for weight purposes.
Speaking of carbs, I'm good transition. Like I have a friend, shout out to Mark. He was
didn't I tell you we're not giving shout outs unless they paying us? You tell this Mark to give us some money.
Don't worry, he will now. But yeah, he don't do carbs, and he said he lost a lot of weight doing it. But I started thinking about if I should do it, and I'm just like, I like my carbs and everything, because he just strictly like chicken and meat and like because we went and got burgers and he just got the patties and the cheese and everything.
He didn't have. Is it called a naked burger? Like where they wrap it in lettuce? What's that called?
I know you're talking about. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, he just got the meat and everything, and he said he lost weight doing the carb stuff. And I'll be more inclined to do something like that versus vegetarian. Also, I thought about cutting out the pork thing too because
you eat a lot of rice.
I do. That's the reason why I haven't started yet.
Right.
But I thought about doing the no pork thing. It's about don't dine with swine, pig, filthy animal. And I was like, bacon and pork chops and stuff. I'm like, do I really want to get this lifestyle up? But my sister, she don't eat red meat, and she hasn't done it for a good 10 plus years. So like whenever we have barbecues, as we doing stuff, we have to, get her turkey burgers and things like that. So I know it could be done, but it's kind of things is, do I really want to give this up?
This is for weight, not health, or both.
I don't think it's for either one. I don't actually, because my sister's not overweight and she was never sick.
I'm sorry. You.
Me? More weight, not health. It's just because he said he lost so much weight doing it. So and then probably it's like a new lifestyle, maybe healthy, but.
Well, I did low carb back in 2005. And it was very successful. I lost 30 pounds. And I kept it off for I was on it for 5-6 years. Basically, you can, once you get to your goal weight, you can incorporate the carbs back into your diet, but you have to know how many carbs that your body will allow that you won't gain the weight back. So during the week, I did 20 carbs. And on Saturday and Sunday, I ate whatever I wanted to eat. Monday through Friday, I went back down to my 20 carbs. So it's very, you can be very successful on it.
Right. Then maybe I need to do something like that because and I have another friend who did the no carb stuff and they lost weight too. So it's just something that I got to do more research on, figure out. And everything else like that.
I mean, removing carbs is a good way to lose weight. It's just the problem is, remember the old food pyramid?
Yeah.
Like that stuff's on there, and it's like carbs taste so good,
And it's so easy to accessible.
Much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's cheap to eat bad. It's expensive to eat healthy.
Right.
So yeah, Matt, it can be done, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, because really look at it, you're just eating a lot of proteins and vegetables,
right?
And you're eliminating the bad carbs and stuff because there are some good carbs.
It's gonna be hard where I have to eat no carbs, but my son is eating McDonald's and everything. So I guess, and I don't want to have to get him on my lifestyle. So I guess I need the discipline to be able to just do it for me and then let him do whatever.
Right. But you have to keep in mind, it's not no carb, it's low carb.
Okay.
So how low on your carbs do you want to intake? You know what I mean? Because once I reached my goal weight, I had to build the carbs back up. I had to reincorporate more carbs into my diet to keep from continuing to lose that weight.
Okay. How come we don't season bacon?
If it's pork, why should you? It's filled with salt.
Yeah,
and it has season. And they do have bacon season, maple bacon.
Yeah. It's just are you talking about putting salt and pepper on bacon? What do you mean?
Well, no, it was just I was just thinking about, I was cooking, I made some steaks the other day and I was just thinking different meats. And I was like, how come we don't season bacon? We just open bacon up and then put in the skillet. I was like, how come we don't actually, I was like, is bacon the only meat that we don't season?
We don't need to season it because the swine is filled with salt.
Yummy salt.
The swine is filled with salt. And if you remember back in the day where your grandparents used to save that bacon grease.
Yes.
So, Michele, do you feel like you are going to be tracked by Microsoft if you get the COVID vaccine?
No, I hadn't thought about that. So what I am in the process of doing is just trying to, I feel like there hasn't been enough research. They just popped up with these vaccines and, it's not just Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer, they have AstraZeneca.
That got taken off the market though.
Right, but exactly. And so recently they halted Johnson & Johnson because of blood clotting. Yeah. And there were a few people that died, but I guess it wasn't enough because they put it back on now and there wasn't enough. But right now, with Moderna and Pfizer, I haven't heard anything. I'm just trying to see, like, I just feel like there hasn't been enough research on it. What happened to the mice that they used to, do research on? Who did they do research on? Is this first group of people? Are they the research group? I don't feel comfortable. This is just the bottom line. So I don't know, maybe next year, see how these people have done after a year with the vaccine. Maybe I'll reconsider. But right now at this time, and I mean, I understand like this COVID is real and it's very serious. I just, and I know that if you get the vaccine, that's not preventing you from getting COVID. It's just you won't have.
You'll be as sick.
Right. And that's just like getting the flu shot.
All I know, Michele, is that ever since I've gotten my second dose, I've had incredible cell phone reception.
And everything you want through your phone is coming up a lot faster now because the government knows what you're doing now.
My FBI agent is working at peak performance.
So, Chad, what made you get it? What made you decide to go forward with it?
There was talk at my current employer where we were going to be going back. And so in my head, I was like, if I'm going to have to go back to work and I have a small child, I just want to make sure that, the risk is lowered.
Right.
I got my vaccine.
Wow.
It's like you guys have this.
When you say you
Who's
guys,
you
do you
guys?
mean Americans?
Who's you guys?
No, I'm saying you two, like your thought plans and everything else like that. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, because they were giving it out to, first responders, military, hospital workers, everything else like that before we got to us. And I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with them. Whatever. I didn't really have no theological thought process of what I was going to do. I'm used to the military shooting me up with stuff. And so I just went and did it. But also I did it. But the missus ain't doing it. Because she's not, same thing you were saying, Michele. Plus, we trying to have kid number 2 and things, and we don't know the effects of that and everything like that. So the wife ain't getting it, but I got it. And I was like, whatever.
I think it's a personal choice. And I don't, if people get it, they get it. I don't have a thought like, why did you go and get that? It's a personal decision. For a person to make. So I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see. I'll keep, obviously I'm going to keep an eye on it, and now I don't know if you guys feel this way. If you're out and about, you hear somebody cough, do you guys like turn and you're like?
A few weeks ago for my wife's birthday, we went to a restaurant, and that was the first time I've been to a restaurant since August, because somebody took me out because I had a baby. And we're sitting there laughing and joking, and I get a little overexcited and I started choking, and I'm like, uh-oh, everybody's looking at me. They think I have the COVID.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a good look. And I remember it was the Saturday before the US was like, all right, we're shutting it down. And, there was just all this stuff about COVID in the news. And my wife and I, we were season ticket holders to the local theater in our town. So we went to a show, and it was just unsettling just how many people in that audience were coughing while the performance was going. We ended up leaving like 15 minutes into the show because we were just like, we are not comfortable. Also, my wife was pregnant at the time too, and there's just so much we didn't know at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like coughing in public is not it. It won't be it for a while.
No, I don't think forever, evermore.
With everything right now with COVID and how they're releasing everything on, HBO Go or Amazon stuff and Disney Plus, do you think that when this is all said and done, you think people are going to be more receptive to go to movie theaters versus staying at home? Because I know that like
going to the movie.
It's an experience.
You think so?
It's an experience. My wife has wanted to see Nomadland for about like 3 months now, and it's been on Hulu for like 4 months now, and it just won an award. And she's like, oh man, I wish we could have saw it before it won an award. And we could have saw it at any point, but because we have access to it, and that amongst a million other things, there's no priority, versus
right.
if something's coming out in the theater, you've got like X amount of weeks to see it. And then it's like, oh man, this is a date night. and we're gonna do, we're gonna go out to eat beforehand or whatever. It's like it's an experience.
Right. I agree, because when Coming to America 2 came out, I didn't watch it for the longest time. So what I did was watched Coming to America first, so I could get a refresh, and then I watched
Coming to America 2, and then you got another refresh of Coming to America 1.
And then it was like when I watched 1, I was like, well, the first one, I was like, man, I forgot he was in this. I forgot so and so, and I actually laughed. It was funny.
Right.
Like, I don't know what you guys' thoughts were on 2. I know that's probably another podcast, but
it's not. Well, we brought it up on one of those shows, but no, it's just like when they were writing Coming to America 2, they watched the first one and they made note of everything that they laughed at, and they're like, we're just gonna do that again in the second one.
Yeah, right. I didn't laugh.
Like you said, like if you didn't watch the first one, you're gonna be like, well, who are these people and everything else like that? And if you did watch the first one, you remember when it was funny then. It's not gonna be funny now. They should have made a movie. They could have used some of the characters, but it's basically the first one in modern times. So yeah, I didn't like it.
And so tonight is Remorse. Anybody gonna watch that?
No Remorse. I was thinking, like, as this week was developing, I was like, man, should we switch the movie?
I have no idea what this is about. Tell me what this is about.
That Michael B. Jordan movie where he sets that car on fire and then gets in the car.
With Nipsey Hussle's old girl.
Who?
Lauren London.
She in
okay.
It? Oh, is she the wife?
She's the wife.
I haven't seen Lauren London in like
since
a decade.
Nipsey died.
No, way before that.
Oh, well then
that was new.
What is this on?
It's on Amazon in America. We can't speak for Japan unless we do it for the show. I'm not watching.
Okay.
Movies need the theater because you aren't gonna make $2 billion in-game money streaming in your house.
Right.
As a consumer, unless it's like something that you really want to see, it's more of a convenience thing now to where why would I spend, $10 on popcorn and this and that, where I can just lounge on my couch and watch something.
Yes. Like I feel like we will get a lot less things in theaters once things calm down with COVID. Like it makes no sense for something like Nomadland to go to the theater and spend all that money when you could watch it at home. But your Black Widows and your Fast and Furious 9s, you're gonna go to the theater to see something like that. But smaller stuff, that's gonna be fewer and far between.
Right. Because that's what I was thinking. But and like you said about the whole date night thing, when you at home, depending on what's going on, either you're gonna be focused or looking at other stuff where basically you're in a movie theater, then you focused on the movie.
The real issue is like we just paralyzed by choice these days. Like how many times have we loaded up Netflix and not watched anything?
I do that all the time. Like there's something like instead of me watching a show that like I want to watch, I'll load up something that I've seen plenty of times. Like I'll load up Rick and Morty because I've seen it just to be on the background. But and then if I do like look up, I can be entertained, but it ain't something I got to sit there and watch through.
Right. It's just there's just too much stuff, and it's like too many streaming services, too many movies, and sadly we need less choice. We need our local theater that's showing 8 movies. We got 8 movies to pick from, and out of those 8 slots, the same movie's gonna be about 3 of those slots. So we need less choice. But no, also I spent $1 million on a new laptop, guys.
Why?
He was not that guy.
Well, yeah.
So he was not.
I bought a MacBook because I had some extra Kamala cash laying around. And
he was a hater of the fam.
Yes, you were. For the longest time, you didn't want to jump on this bandwagon. So you look down on us.
It's the Apple bandwagon.
Yes, you look down on us, and now look at you.
Right. I had to complete the set, right? So I got an iPhone in 2019 after I left that place we all worked at together. And yes, I did have an iPad before that. It is like the best tablet on the market. So like I'm gonna be out here with a Samsung tablet. I'm not going out like that.
I tried to tell him, but he didn't want to listen.
No.
Right.
But you family now. You family now.
So yeah, I got the little MacBook, and I got the iPad that's old. I probably need to update that. I got an iPhone. I got an Apple Watch. You know, with
Oh God.
with the solo loop. With the loop. Got the loop.
Apple, send us free stuff.
This episode is not sponsored by Apple, but it can be.
Exactly.
Got some AirPods around here.
I did not like those AirPods.
Which ones do you have?
I had the latest. I couldn't even tell you. They were the smaller ones. They weren't real long ones. They were the newer ones.
Oh, she had the new ones.
The Pros.
Yeah, the Pros.
Yeah, so I have those because with the regular AirPods, they would just fall out my ear. But
I didn't like them because of the time
tip.
that they wouldn't last long. Stay charged long. Like after 3-4 hours, they were done.
Yeah, that's the main sucky thing about them. They had a smaller battery, but I just like them because they actually stayed in my ear as opposed to the standard AirPods.
Yeah, so I gave those to my daughter. I was like, hey,
who doesn't want some free Apple products?
Do you want some AirPods? Like, what kid would say, oh no, I don't want those?
No.
So she's got them.
So about this new very expensive laptop, because episode 3 was a struggle. We had some connection issues, we had baby issues, and we lost like the end of the episode because the computer just crashed. It's like, you know what? Good luck in this whole podcast thing, Chad, but I'm out.
Wow. And good old Apple to the rescue.
We'll see. We'll see how this turns out.
So it was just your laptop for all that problems for the other episode, the connectivity and everything.
Aside from my daughter, that issue, yeah.
Wow. Okay,
but it did 2 good episodes before that.
Hey, it was just chugging along, and then it was like, this is it. That's all I can do.
It was like, oh, this podcast thing is like, you for real with this? Yeah,
right.
I can't be a part of this.
But how you like it so far?
It's all right. Very fancy. You know, it unlocks itself with the Apple Watch, and ask me again after I edit with it.
All right, then we'll see how much you like it.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, Michelle.
Happy Mother's Day.
So
thank you guys.
Yeah. So I say Happy Mother's Day because you are a mother, but also we just spoilers of my thoughts on this movie. This is a movie that your parents would like. And when I say your parents, I'm talking more to Matt, maybe your parents too, Michelle. This feels like a movie where it's like, oh yeah, action on top of action. A good mother's movie. My mom would eat this movie up with a spoon.
What are your okay? You let it in good. So what are your thoughts about it?
Well, I'll tell you my thoughts after we introduce the movie. Today we're watching Unhinged.
Go!
You know what a courtesy tap is, young man? Sounds like this. It's light. It's friendly. Sure, that's what your mom meant to do.
No, it's not. Mom!
Having a kind of a hard time lately. I'm sorry. Accept my apology?
Just ignore him.
Well, if you could just do the same, we could press reset.
I don't have anything to apologize for.
A divorced mother honks impatiently at a deranged middle-aged stranger at a red light while running late on her way to work and taking her son to school. His road rage escalates to horrifyingly psychotic proportions as he becomes single-mindedly determined to teach her a deadly lesson for provoking him. I haven't seen a movie like this in a while, because this isn't something that I normally watch. This is something that I would watch with my mom, or like my wife's mom, or like an older person. Not saying this is a bad movie, but it's just like they're like, we're gonna lay as thin of a plot as possible, and then we're just gonna say buckle up because we're about to turn on the insanity.
And I agree, because my first thing is, okay, imagine yourself in that scenario. You are the divorced mother. You in wherever you at, Michelle. That's where you live at. Chad, you where you at. If you was in that same scenario, would you honk the horn at them? Like, say if you was at a red light and light turns green, they don't move. Would you honk the horn?
People do it all the time, every day.
Yeah, like I have done that. Like if I'm at a light and I'm like, okay, that person's probably on their phone. I will, just do the as Russell Crowe would say, the courtesy honk, just a quick bump. I'm not gonna hold down my horn because that's aggressive, but I do like a bump, like, hey guy, we've all been there. Like, I've been at a light playing with my phone and I didn't notice the light change, so I'm not trying to embarrass you, but I'm gonna be like, hey, like we gotta keep this moving. And it's not like Matt, it's not like the light changed green and she immediately hit it. Like, she gave him some buffer time.
No, I agree, but I'm saying I'll never honk my horn at anybody.
After watching this movie, it gave me pause, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that anymore. I won't do it, and I almost did it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, thought about that movie. I was like, I'm good. Go ahead.
Because you never know what somebody's going through. And also with her, at first, I didn't have any sympathy for her because she was causing all of her problems until.
So why don't you lay down some of her issues? So some of the feedback that I am getting on the show is that spoilers, of course, guys. We always forget to say that we spoil everything on we used to talk about this at work.
Nah, I don't forget to say spoilers. Y'all knew what this was when y'all downloaded. It's in the description.
But
all right.
You said that in another.
And I'm saying that after
he says
every
that
podcast.
He says that on every episode. So
right. But we don't do spoilers on here.
What we do spoilers on here.
I mean, we don't label spoilers. We just come in talking.
What I'm saying is there are some of these movies where somebody's just not going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like we should at least describe a little better as to what our thoughts are, like our complaints. Like, you're about to lay down like some issues you had with the character. So elaborate.
All right. So the movie starts off basically she's running late for work and she has to take her son to school. So then she's taking the side streets. Then she decides to take the highway, and then it's backed up on the highway. And then because she's late, I guess she's a hairstylist. Her best customer says forget it, fires her, and she gets upset about it. But then her son corrects her. She was like, oh, it's too many cars. Her son corrects her and says, well, also you overslept. It was her fault, but she's blaming it on traffic. Mm-hmm. Fast forward to the scene with Russell Crowe. He apologizes to her.
That is true.
All she had to say was, I'm sorry too. Maybe the other stuff wouldn't have happened, but she didn't apologize. Then he was already on edge from all this other stuff. And you don't know, you don't know what people are going through. All she had to do was apologize and maybe the other stuff wouldn't happen, but she was all stuck in her own world and woe is me type of thing to where she didn't feel like she needed to apologize. And we saw what happened. I didn't have any sympathy to when Russell Crowe kills a lawyer. And I'm like, all right, maybe. Then I started to feel sorry for her. But up until then, I feel like she not caused, maybe instigated everything else to lead up to that.
Man, that pride will do something else to you, though. Like, she felt like she was not in the wrong because he didn't move. And that pride said, you know what? F this man. Just F him. I'm not saying nothing about nothing. And then as we saw, that destroyed her whole life.
Even her son was saying, just apologize. Your son is in the back speaking the truth to you, and you still didn't want to listen. And
man.
Yeah. So she but she instigated the whole, basically the whole thing of the movie.
And, he was, as bad as he was actually trying to educate her on a bad day. Because if you remember, actually at the beginning of the movie, what he actually did.
Yeah, he murdered
to
his
the whole
ex-wife.
family. Yes,
right.
To the whole family. And, okay, so you call that having a bad day?
Right.
You did. That was a bad day?
Just the tip of the iceberg, lady.
Oh, my goodness.
But
if you only knew what he did, you'd have been like, yeah, we good.
I mean, I guess that's the moral of the story, though, right? Like, someone else can be in a worse situation than yourself. So just try to not be so dead set on things.
Right. And especially the world that we're living in today, not a good idea.
Right.
Not a good idea.
And I liked how at the beginning of the movie, how they showed clips of like people just going off, because it shows you never know what somebody's going through.
Exactly.
Right.
And
right.
you might think that, oh, if I yell at somebody and then that's going to be it, and they end up punching you in your face because maybe X, Y, and Z happened 20 minutes early, and this is like the final straw. He's like, I'm tired of it. You should never know. That's why you should never try anyone, because you never know what somebody's capable of or what they just got through dealing with.
Right.
Right. And Chad, you said at the beginning, this is a movie that you would watch with your mom. So my daughter was with me that weekend. And we always like to watch movies together. And my sister actually had called me. She's like, hey, watch that movie. So I'm like, okay. So we watched it, and yeah, she was with her mom watching that movie. So.
Yes. My mom would eat that movie up with a spoon, man.
Yeah.
All right, so I know she's listening. You hear this, mama? Go watch this movie.
My mom's not listening to this.
Well, my mama probably is.
Okay.
but the thing is, I made a note about was like my holy bleep moment.
Okay.
Was when the truck ran through the cop car.
Man, so there's a part in the movie where Russell Crowe is chasing the main character and her son, and they flag down a police officer, and he tries to intervene, but Russell Crowe like spins him out, and like the police officer hits some cars, but it's like okay, and everything's calm, and then out of nowhere a semi truck just drives through the police car, and like I paused the movie and just started laughing. Like
I legit said, holy, I was like, because I wasn't expecting that.
It was like, all right, movie. We're almost over, but like you stayed consistent.
My thing is, when I first laid eyes on Russell Crowe, I could not believe how big he was.
Man.
Now that you mentioned it, I was like, is he
like
that? I was like, is this in real life, or is
right.
or did he just? Is this just movie?
That's real life. He's that big. He's that big.
Wow.
But there's a part where he gets shot, and I was like, that's why he's still fat, so he can absorb those bullets.
I'm like, man, I said all those shots fired, and you only caught one. Like you only feel one actually.
And what was that accent Russell Crowe was doing? Like I've heard you do really nice American accents. I don't know what he was doing.
I don't know either.
Nah, man, I didn't really care for the main character. Like the movie opens and she overslept, and she lives with her brother. Her brother could have taken her son to school. Like the son said, hey, I have 2 lates already, 2 tardies on my record. If I get a third one, I'm going to detention. She lives across the street from a woman with kids that look like around his age. They probably go to the same school. She couldn't have taken him to school. Like, use your resources, miss.
See, what I would have done in my mind, I was thinking, well, shoot, just call in sick for the kid. Just tell him, hey, he won't be there today. He's not feeling well.
Or like when she took him to school, she's just like, all right, how long is detention? You can't go in the school and talk to an administrator.
Right. Yeah.
So no, she sucked. It's unfortunate that her life like unraveled, but like you sucked, man.
What did you think about the movie, Matt?
I thought it was good, but it was hard for me to. She was an idiot throughout this whole movie. Towards the very end, and then when they figured out the iPad, more her son. Her son is the smartest one in the movie. But like, I'm like, all the moves she was making was like, why are you doing this? And the way she did it, like when he was like, name somebody you're gonna kill, and he gives up the neighbor, and then the cop
she picked her client that fired her.
I mean, yeah, sorry. She picked the client, and the cops show up there, right? So I'm just thinking, like, why wouldn't you have cops go to your house first and everything else like that, grab your family and do all this other stuff? I mean, sure, the cops show up.
Yeah.
The cops show up later. Why wouldn't you do it? Another thing I thought about was when the whole incident with her brother happens, right? Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't she go home?
At that point, that's when she was going to pick her son up.
No. This is after. After she picked her son up, that's when he burned her brother.
Yeah, okay.
Because after it happened, the cop shot him. She hears this stuff, and then she gets out the car and throws up or whatever. But I'm like, after that, why wouldn't you go check on your brother?
I mean,
she probably thought he was dead.
But still, like, even if you thought he was dead, why wouldn't you go check on your brother?
Didn't they decide to go to the police at that point, though? Like, after that happened, one thing to go to a police station before the son realized that they were being tracked?
No, they didn't go to the police station.
No, they were talking about it. And then as they were in the car, he was like, hold up, you're probably being tracked. Where's your iPad? I thought I thought that was the progression of it. And then once they realized that they were being tracked, they were like, we can track him, and we're about to, take this into our own hands, vigilante style.
Right.
Well, let me ask you guys this. When you leave out of your car, do you leave your phone in the car?
No.
And do you leave your car unlocked?
No. Not even just that. Like, I found it very flat where she's like, yeah, I took the password off my iPhone. Excuse me, ma'am? Like, all you have to do is put your finger on there and it unlocks. Like, how's that harder?
Yeah.
Like, so like the whole setup was kind of flat, which once more, a good movie for my mom. She's not here for that plot, all right? She's just here for that action.
And another thing I noticed too, when she pumped gas, she put her purse on top of the car.
Yeah. But she did have it because she went in the gas station and hit the
right. ATM. But I'm just saying, like, as you pump, I'm like, when she set it on top of the hood of the car or roof of the car, I'm like, why would you do that?
I mean, it's to show that she lives a life that is messy, man.
Right. And also when in the gas station scene, I liked how they improvised and had the guy come out there.
Yeah.
To accompany her. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Russell Crowe follows her to a gas station.
Yeah. And then that's when he takes her phone and stuff. But I like how the gentleman inside accompanied her out there and
lost his life.
Right.
I mean, that's what happens. So you risk your neck for some strange woman because you think that might lead somewhere, and then that's what happens, sir.
Oh, it led somewhere.
But yeah, that was. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't have gotten that bad. Like it's always a scene where like the situation is a little bit squashed down, and then that person gotta be like, "Yeah, I thought so." Like, why you gotta add that little bit there, man?
Right, and that's the thing I thought. Like, he could have just walked out there, let her pump her gas, get in the car. He didn't have to keep antagonizing that man, talking about, you better get out of here. I got your license plates, all this other stuff. Just stand out there, make sure nothing happens to the girl, get in their car and leave. But you kept egging him on.
Yep.
Right.
Thin on plot, heavy on action. Didn't hate the movie.
Nah, it was a nice little action movie.
Well, thanks for watching it, guys, because I suggested it.
You did. It wasn't bad. I will say this, like, and some of the other things you suggested, I firmly said no to this when I was talking to Matt. Like
you did.
That Janelle Monáe movie.
Antebellum.
Yes, that trash.
Did you see it?
I know the spoiler. I know what that movie's about. I know what that movie's about, and I'm good on that.
So let me ask you this on that movie, even though we're not talking about that movie. Have you seen it, Matt?
No.
Do you believe that is going on right now as we speak?
Do you need a refresher, Matt?
No, I just wait, what was it?
I told you what it was about and why I didn't want to see it.
No, what was it about again? I apologize. Sorry about that.
So the advertising of the movie, it had like Janelle Monáe in it, and she is like during, they're doing she's like existing during slave times, like she's a slave. You're like, okay. And then as the trailer progresses, it shows Janelle Monáe like in modern times. So the trailer is like, oh, is she time traveling? Is this her ancestor? What's going on? But the whole thing is like white people are kidnapping black people, and they've got like a large plot of land, and they're just making them cosplay slavery.
Oh, yeah, I don't care to see that.
Exactly. Do I think that it's actually happening? It's possible. Like, my only thing is like, you need to get somebody that's not high profile, like Janelle Monáe's character. But yeah, you just snatch up some random black people, and I don't see why that couldn't be happening right now under our noses.
Right.
Michele, you think it's going on right now?
I believe that it could very well be going on.
Maybe I should watch it then.
I mean, human trafficking is real.
Right.
So, but like you said, it was, you chose somebody that was going to be missed.
Right.
I mean, everybody is important. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. But this
she
is like
was
somebody
high
that's like
profile.
famous.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like you grab a homeless person or something like that.
yeah, unfortunately. I mean, you shouldn't be grabbing anybody.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any idea what the Rotten Tomatoes is on Unhinged?
If I had to take a guess, I'd say it'd be in the middle of the road. It's not gonna be super bad, but it ain't gonna be super high.
Okay. So give me a number.
75.
That's not middle of the road, but all right.
Really? It's out of 100 though, right?
Right. So middle would be 50.
All right, then let's go with 60 then.
Okay. Michelle, out of 100, what is the Rotten Tomato score?
48.
Yes. Did you look this up?
No.
Oh, well, you're right, Mel. It is 48. So the tomato score is 48 and the audience score is 77. Because like I said, people are going to eat this up.
I believe it.
And we do have a bit of a trivia game. This is going to be slightly different because I couldn't find a lot of fun facts on this movie. So this is just a true or false, all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is true. So Russell Crowe has died in 8 movies. This is the 8th movie. True or false? One of those deaths was an American Gangster, co-starring Denzel Washington.
False.
False. I don't remember him being in that movie.
No,
he was the officer.
Yeah, he's
the main.
agent.
He didn't die in that movie. Yeah, okay. False.
Yeah, right. I was just trying to. I was looking at his the movies that he was in. I was like,
bio.
I was like, who saw most of this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll list out the 8 movies. So he was in a movie called Romper Stomper in '92. He died in that. He was in Virtuosity, also with Denzel. He died in that. Heaven's Burning, Gladiator. Didn't know he died in Gladiator. Never seen it. Man of Steel, Winter's Tale, and Fathers and Daughters. He died in all of those movies. And this movie. Spoilers, he died in this movie. You know what kind of movie this is. He's gonna die at the end. You have to get your just desserts.
Did you guys see Beautiful Minds? Did you check him out in Beautiful Mind?
Oh yeah, that movie was good. Where he had schizophrenia.
Yes,
it's a good movie. It's based on a true story. Like that was a real person. I think they passed away by now.
Yeah, that is true.
Other trivia. This is the first movie to go to American theaters post-pandemic. Well, during the pandemic, I should say. Like, because we had that long break, and this was like the first movie to hit theaters.
So that means it probably didn't do a lot money-wise.
Made $43 million in the U.S. on a $33 million budget.
At least they made a profit.
Yeah. So last thing I have here is something that annoys me in movies where you have actors, and I'm not sure what their criteria was on casting people, but then they have to play against people, like act with other people where the ages don't make sense. Like the main character has a son who's like a teenager, but she looks like she is like 18 herself.
It was confusing.
Yeah. So the main actress, she is only 14 years older than the kid that played her son.
In real life, or that's how it is
in real life?
In real life.
Okay. So what age is in the movie? What age were we supposed to believe them to be?
They didn't go into it because you're not supposed to think that deep into this kind of movie. But I feel like that role should have gone to a slightly older actress though.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
Right. Also, like they should have recast the brother too because he looked way too young.
Yeah.
Like I was like, who is this man in your house? What is happening here?
Right.
Well, not that man. Who is this boy? Like you got 2 sons, and then his girlfriend was there too. I was like, what kind of house are you running here, miss? But yeah. So that's gonna be the show. Michelle, do you have anything that you want to plug? You got social media people need to hit. You got your own podcast you're starting on. What's going on, lady?
I don't have any of those.
Oh.
I'd like to talk to you guys more.
You will.
Chad, I know you're really good at keeping me up to date
I know
with,
I know you specifically targeting Matt when you say these things. I know I'm the
that's
good one.
right. That's right. So Matt, what are you gonna do about that?
I will respond to your emails in
I'm
a
not
timely
sending you any more
fashion.
emails because I'm gonna tell you something, Matt. You specifically reached out to Chad over and over to try to connect with me. And then when I connected with you, you disconnected with me.
Ooh, Matt.
I didn't
Matt.
disconnect. There was just a pause in that sentence. I was gonna email you back.
Matt, it's been a year.
It's coming.
I don't want it now.
Still look out for that email, Michele.
Hey, I don't want it.
All right. I won't reach out to you more.
So I did have fun, and I wouldn't mind having you back, Michele. Like,
thank you.
before I even saw this movie, this reminded me of something else that I haven't seen. Do you remember Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
It sounds familiar. I can't.
So it is also a movie where someone has a bad day.
Yes, and yes.
So that movie basically the center point is the Russell Crowe character. Like, you follow him through the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point I was like, oh man, we should watch both and compare. But maybe we'll have you back for that, or maybe we'll have you back for something new. Who knows?
Well, all righty. This was fun for me too. I was kind of nervous because I'm like, man, I've never done anything like this and didn't know what to expect. I mean, I always hear, like, I watch people on YouTube and they have podcasts, and TV people have podcasts, and I'm like, I think it's kind of neat.
I have a question for you. So do you listen or watch podcasts on YouTube, or do you use a podcast app?
No, I just was on YouTube with this family I was following, and they created a podcast, but I don't watch their podcast.
Okay. Because I'm also getting feedback from people that are like, hey, is your show on YouTube? And I'm like, no. Why would it be? I listen to podcasts on YouTube. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. So I will start to upload the podcast episodes to YouTube. And so I am addressing that feedback.
Okay.
That wasn't that statement wasn't for you.
Oh, Matt.
It was for the audience.
Hey, and then I learned that podcast is not a big thing in Japan.
Okay.
Like I was telling my coworkers, shout out to my buddy. She said she'll be listening. I told her I'd give her a shout out.
How many times do I have to say you will pay us for shout outs? Because that's basically sponsoring.
Hey, well, never mind. We work together, so I know she ain't got that much money.
I'm just saying we need some sponsorships, because some of our feedback was like, hey, you guys talk a lot, like you need a break, and like, hey, we will take a break when we get a sponsor.
Yes. And she was saying, like, they didn't know what the Japanese women I work with, they didn't know what podcast was. So I'd explain it to them. So I guess podcasts are not a thing in Japan.
I mean, they are a thing.
They're a thing, but it's not a commonly known thing.
I mean, I don't want to brush our shoulders too much, Matt, but we're in the top 500 on the Japanese iTunes. Okay.
Hey, see, maybe it's far between. So we got to be there.
Now, just to be clear, this isn't like Japan as a whole. This is specifically movies that where the podcasters speak English. You gotta dial it down. We're in the top 500 in that one. So yeah,
I'll take it. A win is a win.
So thank you so much for listening. Please rate and review our podcast on the various places one listens to podcasts. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at weusedtotalkpod, where Matt is the administrator there. So look out for those lovely posts from him.
Also, happy Mother's Day to other mothers out there.
Yes. Please, if you have a mother that you love, have her listen to this podcast. She'll enjoy it. Probably.
That'd be a great Mother's Day gift.
It will. Don't even buy a gift. Just say, Mom, let me send you this link. All right, but this is fun. Hopefully we'll see you again, Michele. Okay, they can't hear that, but she gave the thumbs up. Bye, guys.
I chose a perfume one time and it smelled like match lighter fluid on me. So, that's all I'm saying.
All right. I'll make a note of that. See, I get the misses on this too.